third chapter that we are now going to cover, the matters we are going to cover in this chapter is information systems and what are their components. So what exactly are we going to look at in this chapter? Basically, what are the different things or components and make up an information system? How does it work with each other? And what are the application systems, operating systems, database systems, networking and communication systems. Apart from this, we have to see what sort of threats and what sort of reduction of threats, mitigation mechanisms that we can use for controlling this entire system. What are the types of controls, and obviously where auditors are concerned, what are the audit aspects of various systems. Organization structure, how it should be there in such a case, and what are the individual roles and responsibility. Pretty big chapter, but quite simple if you go about it in a pretty systematic way. So the chapter overview, if we say, we are going to be talking about information systems. First of all, we'll talk what are the components, right? What are the controls? What is the auditing? And what is the audit trick? So simply put, that will be the easiest way to look at it. So now introduction to this chapter, if I am giving you, what would I say? I would say the world has moved from being totally without systems, can we say, to a place where we are totally connected with systems, right? That was the first step. Now it is not even about connection among individuals through systems. Now it is connection among systems itself, which we call as the Internet of Things. What does that mean? The internetworking of physical devices, vehicles, smart devices, embedded electronics, meaning everything that we own or we work with are interconnected with each other. That is called the Internet of Things, of IoT. That is the latest concept. Information system, but information means what? Information means, can we say it is data? Definitely not. So what is information? Information is data which is processed. So what is data? Data is the basic fact. So you have plenty of data around you, raw facts, right? Information is processing the data in such a form so that it becomes useful to you. For example, I would say student data. So student data, you get plenty of information about students. They have attended for so many days. They have received so many marks in English, Hindi, let's say it's a school. So English, Hindi, science, maths, etc., etc. All the subjects that they have. So they have received so much marks in this term, then in the next term, then in the third term. If I just dump all that data on you, does that make any sense to you? Obviously not. So what should you do? You should collate it in such a way that it is useful. Take the example of an English teacher. So the English teacher, what does she need to know? She needs to know how many students in English in the entire year or in this term have done so well that they have scored more than 70%. So what are we now going to do? We are going to process the data which we have and then figure it out as to how many students have got more than 70%. That information which you receive after processing this data is called information. So if information is clear, then we go into systems. What is systems? A group of mutually related cooperating elements. Sounds complex. It's very easy if you think about it as a set of things that need to be done together by an individual. That itself is a system, isn't it? So it all works together. You can't stop in the middle. Why? Because you're going to give some input to produce certain output because you want to achieve some goal. It's very simple, isn't it? So every system has to have one goal. So does a system work independently? No. There could be subsystems within this system. That is 3-4 small things going on together. 3-4 processes which together form part of the main system, right? So this could be subsystem. And this main system itself could be part of the very main system. Let me give you an example. A business example would be in accounting. Do you mean to say the entire accounting process is a single process? No, right? There are lots of small things going on. There could be entry, journal entry. Then there is a ledger process. then there's a P&L, then there's a balance sheet. Ultimate goal is balance sheet. But accounting entries, when you're making the journal entries, etc., that's the first step. That itself, there are several processes. So you need to do that process. So that becomes one system. Then converting it into a ledger, that's another system. Writing out checks, third system. So each of these becomes a subsystem of the main accounting system. Does the main accounting system work independently? Obviously not. So it becomes part of the entire organizational system which has got several big systems, right? Together they achieve corporate objectives. So for 5 components: input, process, output. Then after you get the output, you look at it and say, no, I didn't want it this way, I want it some other way, or something is quite wrong. So that's the feedback. And once you've got the feedback, then again you have to establish control. You have to rectify the system, check it again, and then control it at different points. Now, information system, is it only of people? Obviously not, right? It is a combination of people. Then there is hardware now, because we are working with the computerized information systems. So there is hardware, then there is software, then there is communication devices. What are they? We'll be seeing over a period of time. Then there is a network, then there are data resources, which all of them together, that is processed, and that is the information system. How come? Because there are inputs from the people. Processes happen through technology, hardware, software, communication. And then through the communication devices, we produce the output. Output devices, we produce the output. And through communication devices, we send it out for the person who is the user. Then there will be a feedback for control. What is the aim? The aim is basically for helping the operations, and it is also for helping the management, supporting the management in their day-to-day activities and in their decision making. So basically an information system, what we have understood till now is that it converts data into information which is useful. An information system model therefore tells you the relationship among the different people. Is it only people? No. Among all the components or activities of an information system. So the steps involved, what we said is input is coming from external environments, processing happens, which is a series of steps that you need to do in order to complete one process, and then you get an output, right? So what are the characteristics of a computer based information system? The systems work for predetermined objectives. First point, obviously without a goal you can't put in a place a system. There are several interrelated and interdependent subsystems. Again obvious. If one subsystem fails, the entire system will fail. When one subsystem deals with another or interfaces with another, it is called interaction. Each individual subsystem is working towards that same goal only. It is not that there are divergent goals. That is again obvious, right?